Okay, how do I do this again?
Let's count you down. 3,
Listeners, what's up?
2, 1.
Top of the morning. What's up, listeners? Welcome to Predator vs. Movies. I'm feckin' Alex.
And feckin' Peter.
Maiden.
Oh my god.
And this is a feckin' podcast where we discuss and review the latest movie releases.
Dude, yeah, Irish accent is just when you can't speak.
So bad. Top of the morning. We'll start off with a non-spoiler review before diving into a deep discussion of the film, and then we'll ask the most important question: would this movie be feckin' better if the alien from Predator was in it? This week we're going to be reviewing Banshees of Inisherin. No guest.
Wow, you guys
How was that?
are really insulting my people there.
Do you want to do one?
No, I'm okay.
I just love the use of feck, you know?
Yeah, fuck is
That was the closest I could get.
Feck is
Anyways,
great.
we have some news. Big news, guys.
Big news.
Mithrigan.
Yep.
Maforgan. We're
Yep.
getting a sequel. Mithrigan 2.0.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm here
yeah.
for it. I'm completely here for that. I'm excited.
Same.
Okay, I have not seen the movie, but my question is there more story to tell, you think?
Absolutely.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
It's going to be released January 17th, 2025. Where do you think this story is going, Aiden?
Well, I think that from the way the first one ended, Peter, do you care if I do spoilers?
Go for it.
Watch it.
Okay, spoilers.
Spoilers for
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, spoilers for Mithrigan. How it ends is that it's like we think Mithrigan's dead, but then there's like the AI thing that like the house Alexa thing that the main character has, and like I got the impression that Mithrigan had like transferred some of her consciousness into that thing, and so it's like I think she's like in the web now, and I feel like that's where they're gonna go there. She's in the cloud or whatever.
Well, like, is she a bad guy? Is she a villain?
Mithrigan is a villain, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no. I think well, what you said is true. For sure that's how they're going to bring her back. However, I know exactly what this movie is going to be, okay? Are you ready, Hollywood? Okay. So, from the movie, there's some cliffhangers that weren't resolved other than that. There was the dweeby guy who was the assistant to the head honcho of, like, the head guy, the CEO. And he was a mole, and he was leaking Mithrigan files to an outside company. Yeah. So, another company is for sure going to make a Mithrigan.
Yeah.
And they're going to fuck up in the same way and make an evil Mithrigan. And the Mithrigan, having the files from the original, is probably going to be patterned like to, what was the word? Like, I don't know. Like, you know how you have to like set up the Mithrigan by like bonding with it or whatever?
Yeah.
Whatever the word is.
Pairing or whatever?
Yeah, it's going to be like paired to Katie, like the same girl.
Yeah.
And so it's going to try and find her. And then our Mithrigan, the OG, is going to come back.
Dude, it's Terminator.
It's Terminator 2. And the OG is going to come back and is going to be good. And is going to fight for the good guys. And is going to be on the good guy team. That's what it is.
I would be down for a Terminator 2 Mithrigan.
The Mithrigan showdown.
There's not a doubt in my mind that is what it should be and what it probably will be. If I'm right, guys. Anyways, we got some trailers for movies releasing this year. First
Wait,
up,
is it time for the trailer park?
Yeah, are we in the trailer park?
Yeah, we're just pulling into the trailer park. First up, Aiden has one he wants to talk about.
Yes, this wasn't exactly a trailer, but it was a teaser for Invincible Season 2.
Let's just drive on over to the teaser park.
Get out of the teaser
The
park.
same sound effect.
Yeah, but it's like a little bit lighter because we're just like we're not like whipping into it. You know what I mean? Like it's because they're geographically close together, so we can just kind of
gotcha.
You can hear the trailer park from a distance. We're just outside the trailer park. Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, so I am really excited about this. I really loved season 1. One of the common critiques of it was that the animation was really clunky in some parts, and it looks like they've put a lot more into that. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
It was a solid show, and so It's been a while. When did it come out? Like, was that
2021.
2021? Okay.
Oh, was it? Oh,
It feels like forever.
yeah, it wasn't that long.
I guess that does make it 2 years though, if it's coming out soon.
Yeah, May 2023.
But yeah, like it looks fun, and I still really like Steven Yeun, and so that'll
Seth
be fun to see
Rogen
that.
is back.
Yeah, that's obviously why I'm watching the show, for Seth
I'm
Rogen.
kidding.
That's also why I watched The Fablemans.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got some other
That's good.
trailers. We got a trailer for Scream.
That's us going
sorry.
back to the trailer park.
Sorry,
by
we
the
have
way.
to. Yeah.
So we're back
Um,
now, so we're good.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a full trailer for Screevy.
Scream.
Scream
Six
6.
creep. Six creep. What
Um,
might I say?
And yes, and I figured out what they're satirizing this time. Okay, so Scream is the horror satire, right?
Yeah.
And the first one's just satirizing slasher films. You didn't want to mute for that?
Yeah, you can edit it out.
Why do you keep saying that? Look like you can edit it out. No, you're sneezing on the internet forever.
Sorry.
So the first one's satirizing horror slasher films. Second one's satirizing sequels. Then third movies. Then reboots and etc. So what's this fifth one about? I think that it's going back to its roots, and it's
Sixth
going to
one.
be satirizing. Yeah, the sixth one. Yeah, great. No, I think it's satirizing the Halloween franchise,
Oh,
and just
Okay.
the where Michael Myers has been going in the past like 3 movies of the reboot era.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you've got the dirtied up mask, like if of the kind of like the reboot sequel, like it's the same but like now dirty and weathered because it's time has passed, you know.
Yeah.
And also like it seems in this one like Ghostface is much stronger
Yeah, like
and
he is.
unkillable.
Like he has the same boogeyman quality that Michael Myers has.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
picks up a shotgun. Like that's
Yeah.
very Michael Myers and not very Ghostface at all. Ghostface does use a gun. But it's only ever like handguns, like
Yeah.
pistols, I think. And also like it just seems. I haven't seen the newest Halloween. Which one is it? Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends or whatever.
Yeah, but like this one and the last one, I think is what it's going after. So like, kind of like looking at like they have like the Hall of Ghostface's past or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
I can't really describe it having not seen those Halloween movies, but definitely that's the vibe I'm getting. Aiden, what do you think about the trailer?
I'm excited for it. I mean, like you said, I think it's interesting, the idea of like, oh, maybe is there something supernatural going on? And I like in the end, I don't think that'll be the case. But like, I like that. Like the idea that they're playing with that is interesting. I like the idea of them because that adds a new fold into it. You know what I mean? Like we're 6 movies deep. So I think that's interesting. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and did you notice Kirby Reed is back?
Who's that?
She's from the 4th movie. She was
I
the
didn't see that one.
blonde. Okay, so
I've
there's
only
a
seen 1 and 5.
Oh, okay, so I've seen them all now, and I guess spoilers, but it's in the trailer. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Scream 4. Basically, Vanessa Kirby. Why do I keep saying Vanessa Kirby? Kirby Reed gets killed, but like even then, like seeing it, I wasn't really convinced, and so
Okay.
it seems she comes back. And also on the Scream 6 poster, there's there's the unique poster that's like the subway map in the shape of the Ghostface mask,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and each of the points on the map is a kill. The station marker for Kirby Reed says
Oh, okay.
closed.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like maybe she didn't though. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll investigate that. Anyways,
Speaking
looks
of the
great.
Scream posters, the newest one that came out looks terrible. It's an awful
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just
I like how they went for like the best poster,
Yeah.
the New York City subway map, and then dog shit.
Yeah.
We also got a trailer for Mando season 3. Definitely does not hit the same post Andor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I like Mandalorian. I've seen a lot of like anti-Mandalorian discourse on Twitter. And I understand it. Like, it's nowhere near as good as Andor, and it does fall into like a lot of the problems, like Glup Shido esque problems,
Hmm.
like that people complain about. But I still think it's definitely like the second best Star Wars show. Well, live action one.
Yeah.
And like I genuinely like season one, season two. The only thing I'm kind of disappointed is I think season one is better because I like that it's just like this kind of episodic
Right?
exploration.
Oh my
Like it's
god, I was
just
gonna
it's
say.
when it's just him and the baby guy just going around and doing different things. Like that's the best part of the show. And I didn't
Hmm.
like that season two was trying to be like tying it into like Luke Skywalker and shit. And so
Oh yeah.
I feel like we're going even further into the like getting into the lore of Mandalore, the Mandalore, and
Whoa. Yeah.
I'm not as interested in that as just like Hanks exploring the galaxy, you know.
I think
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. I think the hope for it to remain a serial show is kind of like, you know, they weren't gonna do that. I think that is why season one is so great. But there is like an overarching plot of season one still, you
Yeah.
know.
But it's
Unless you
like,
just mean, do you just mean the fact that they connected it to like Luke? Like that's all your complaint was?
Well, no, season two is like very focused on like we have to. I don't remember what happens, but it's very focused on like the Mandalore, like what's
And
going
Moff
on politically
Gideon.
there. Yeah, and like it's very focused on the overall.
Okay.
It gets more serialized than season one
well,
is.
the ending of season two. So like basically in season one they set up the dark saber, and then in
Yeah.
season two he's now the wielder of the dark saber. So that's what happens in season two.
But that's not what the plot was. The plot was like Moff Gideon bad or something. I don't remember.
Well,
Anyways,
I think
whatever.
plot of season two is like they figured that, hey, like he's a foundling, he needs to find his tribe, his people. So
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah.
so they're trying to find like Grogu's people basically, well the Jedi's.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what it was. Okay.
yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So
And most
yeah,
episodes were dedicated to a linear story, like pushing to that.
it was
Well, I
still
mean,
like separate planets
like
though,
for
right? Like
example, the at the beginning when they were hunting the sand dragon with Timothy Olyphant, that was
Yeah.
like very
Yeah, that's a good
standalone.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one.
um
But
it's it's Timothy Oliphant, just you know.
but most of the season wasn't that as compared to season one.
Yeah, I think I'm absolutely with you there. Like, as much as I want to see more Mandalore, because I think the Mandalorian lore is very cool. Like the show is at its best when it's just Mando ended up in some random place, and then he's somehow needed or gets involved, and then we see how he deals with the situation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I feel like there's no need to connect this show with the wider Star Wars canon because like it's meant to feel like it's in its isolated little corner, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, and I mean
okay,
I think sorry, you go.
I kind of disagree with you guys. Like Luke putting Luke in there, weird choice. I would have picked some other one, some other
Like
person.
another Jedi.
It fits the timeline, I guess. So maybe that's like the only reason.
Right.
And the like, I think if you go back to season one and just what they're talking about, like I think
Mhm.
going back to Mandalore is kind of like inevitable. So like I actually don't have a problem with that. It's the Babu Fricks bringing those guys back that I'm like, why are we doing that?
Wait, they're from the sequel trilogy, right?
Yeah, and there's two of
Yeah.
them now. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, I mean, like, but it is definitely getting more serialized, and I think that speaks to like a general like trend of like current television, like this conception that serialized television is better than episodic television, and that is not necessarily true, and I don't like that mentality. So
Dude,
I think it's
all
kinda
I'm
sad
gonna
to see.
say is just look at Watchmen. One season, Damon Lindelof's like, okay, there's no more story to tell. We're just gonna end it, and boom. That's one. I think, still, in my opinion, one of the best television series I've ever seen.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I could not tell you that I disagree. I don't think it's the best, but I don't think you've seen a lot of TV anyways. You've seen some. You've seen probably the same amount as I have.
Hey,
But like,
dude,
hey,
Westworld,
like,
Game of
all I'm saying is if you think Watchmen is the best show ever, you have not seen a lot of TV. That's
I
my
disagree. I think Watchmen is very influential, in my opinion.
anyways. I also just think like the Mando, like tone wise, like it's I don't know what it is. Like Andor's just so much better. Like
Yeah.
from like, I think maybe it was seeing I don't know what her name is, the person who repairs ships on Tatooine. When
Mhm.
she comes back again, I'm like, oh my god, not this again. You know?
Uh,
Like, um, the for,
Bex? Brax.
no
Bix.
Bix, it might be Bix.
It's the girls who got tortured, right?
No, that's the person from Andor.
No.
Okay, guys, we're diving
Oh,
too deep into this rabbit hole. I'm gonna have to pull.
Oh,
this-
David.
I think I know who we're talking about. Like she has a bunch of droids, right?
Yeah.
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 Anyways,
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I saw
what you're
that and I
talking
was
about,
like, yeah, I don't need this again. Anyways, that was a trailer we saw, and that's it for the news segment. So we watched a little movie this week. Came out a while ago. It's called the Banshees of Inisherin. It's written and directed by Martin McDonagh. It stars Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, Kerry Condon, and Barry Keoghan. I looked it up. DP is Ben Davis, who you might know as the DP of some of the Marvel movies, some of the worst ones. Get ready, Aiden. Brace
Yep.
yourself. Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a good one. Age of Ultron.
Oh,
Doctor
I don't hate that one as much as
Strange.
other people do. Oh, that one sucks. Yeah.
Doctor
Captain
Strange's
Marvel. Captain
Yeah,
Marvel.
that one's
The
okay.
Eternals. So
Yeah.
like a bunch of like the gray looking ones. Also Dumbo. Disney's
Okay.
Dumbo. And
That one didn't end up well.
and two of Martin McDonagh's other films, Seven Psychopaths and Three Billboards.
Oh.
Let's go.
It has a runtime of 1 hour and 54 minutes. Don't know what the budget was, but it's got a box office of $27.8 million. It premiered at Venice Film Festival, in which Farrell won Best Actor and McDonagh won Best Screenplay. And recently at the Golden Globes, it won Best Feature Film in a Movie or Musical. Best Best Feature Film in the Musical or Comedy category. Farrell won Best Actor in the same category, musical or comedy, and McDonagh won Best Screenplay. Before we get into the movie, we're going to do a classic game, Predacritic.
Sure.
Basically, there is a website on the internet called Metacritic where critics' scores of a movie, like ratings, are tabulated and averaged out of 100. If it gets 60 or above, it's green. If it's 80 or above, it's must see. If it's in the 50s, it's yellow. And if it's in the 40s or below, it's red. We're going to guess where the Banshees of Inisherin lands. And we're going to do the Wheel of Names. So who will go first? No one knows.
Truly who is going to go first? That is the question that I think Plato was asking that, really.
Truly
that's
who?
what he was talking about.
It's Peter. Peter's going first.
Let's go.
You
Wait,
don't
that's
wanna be
bad,
first.
right?
That's bad. We do this every
Uh,
week. We always forget which is worse.
yeah, you're just
Yeah,
seeing your
go
name, you're
first.
Like,
Oh,
let's
shit.
go.
I think this movie is pretty solid. I'll give it a solid 86.
Okay.
Oh fuck! I gotta click the wheel again. You answered very quickly. Were you gonna say Aiden?
I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just hanging out.
Yeah, just
waiting.
having a good
Just
time,
chilling.
bro.
Just straight chilling.
Chilling.
Wait.
yeah.
for
Okay,
that
it's
wheel.
me. It's me next. So
Awesome.
you said 86, correct? Peter.
Yes.
That's really close to what I was gonna guess. I honestly think 86 is like right on the money.
Do a little dance when I
84.
win.
I'm guessing 84. Yep.
Okay, I'm really not confident in my abilities, so I'm going 85.
Fuck you.
I'm actually not confident in
No.
this one.
This is gonna be brutal. Okay, here we go. Typing. Someone do some music. Oh, motherfucker. Okay, Peter
Elevator
wins.
music. Dun, 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 dun.
Peter wins. It
Oh,
got
What's the score?
87.
Oh,
Should have gone up. Okay. And I want to do this differently than we usually do.
Sure.
So now that we have a winner, we're gonna go to our non-spoiler reactions, and we're gonna go in the order from winner to loser. So Peter,
Okay.
Aiden, me. That's the order.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So I really like this movie. I think I recently watched a video about how mid-budget films don't get made anymore, and oftentimes mid-budget films were like the ones that win awards, influence people's opinion on cinemas. I think this is like a good example. I don't really know the budget since I think we don't have that information.
Try
I
and
think
find
it's
it.
like mid to low budget, because it's very much like it's shot like an indie film. I feel like, but
It's
like
gonna be mid. Just based on the talent, it's gonna be mid budget for sure.
yeah,
That's not
then
an
then it's mid
indie.
budget. Great, that proves my point. Because I think it's like one of these movies where comedy films oftentimes they're just for a laugh. You know, they're not very deep. But like this movie is like a great combination of dark humor, but also some themes where you can ponder about. Like a great combination of that. So you're not just having a laugh at the theater, but you're also thinking about something a little deeper, which I really appreciate. The acting is superb. I think basically everyone in the cast did a fantastic job. I believe these characters. I'm immersed in the world, and yeah, it's a very funny movie. But oftentimes it's like you're laughing in 1 minute, and then the minute after you're either deeply disturbed or very very sad. So uh, and like honestly, to me, Martin McDonagh is my Damon Chazelle because like he has not missed for me. I really liked In Bruges. Three Billboards was great, and this is like another great movie from him in my opinion. So 4 out of 5 for me, and I would recommend this to everybody.
Cool. Yeah, I'm actually also on the 4 out of 5 train. Yeah, I really really enjoyed this movie. I saw a lot of people like loving this. Like this was their favorite of the year, including friend of the show Ryan. But I didn't feel quite that strongly about it. There are a lot of things I like though. Like you said, Peter, performances are phenomenal. I think every performance in this movie is incredibly strong. I thought they were great. I do think there's some great writing. I think the dialogue is very well written. Um, I think that I love the cinematography too, actually a lot as
Absolutely,
well.
yeah,
Like I think that there's this is a good example of like I think I've talked about this before, where like sometimes you're doing too much with cinematography. Like I think a lot of people get this impression that like if it's not the or bathed in orange light, like 1 or 5 minute one or like whatever, like some bullshit like that,
Sure.
like then it's not good. But it's like no, this is very good cinematography that is compositionally very strong. It's cinematography that is based on the notion that the environment, the landscape is naturally beautiful, and all we have to do is capture that. And I think that's great. And I,
yes.
and I think that works really well. So yeah, I'd recommend this to everyone as well. I think you could probably get a kick out of this no matter what. Wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but I really enjoyed this. 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the black sheep for this movie. When I watched it originally, I gave a very harsh review. I do think my opinion has mellowed out on a second viewing. I will just say, for context, my first viewing, I think I gave it 3 stars and I dropped it to 2.5. Um, and I had very strong opinions, like negative opinions, but like I said, a second viewing, I was like, I could see more that I liked in it, while still not being fully on board. So I understand giving it a 4. Um, I think just based on my enjoyment, I don't know that I can give it that myself. Like I think a 3.5 is where I stand now. Um, and basically, um, I think the dialogue is usually very good. Like there's a lot of witty. Like I wrote down like a bunch of lines that I really liked. So there was a lot that I wrote down. So I think the writing is very well done. Um, the acting is fantastic. The 4 leads are just crazy good. Um, and then my big issue is that just kind of like how Column's view of Podrick, I just find this movie dull personally, and I think that's just a matter of personal taste. It does not keep my attention very well, and the mark of a movie that I'm not enjoying is me being very tired and struggling to get to the end, and I definitely felt that. And I was actually very excited to return to this to try and get a second opinion for myself, and hearing people love it so much, and I was like, okay, maybe I saw it wrong and I need to try again. And again, like it just does not work for me. And you know what? If people love it, great. But I think honestly, like I think Banshees is maybe a bit too overrated for its own good. So those are my thoughts, not shared among the other podcasters here, but
No,
that
I
brings
respect
us.
it, and I love how
You're
you.
like laughing though, like you're
Dude,
like
dude, no,
trying
no,
not to
no, I
laugh.
respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, that was actually that was so funny. I respect that though. Yeah, no, for sure.
um, Alex started his reveal by saying,
Oh, do you want
"But
me
he's
to?
always been dull." I just love that.
It's a great quote, Paul, to
Yeah,
explain my sentiment. Do you want me to read
yeah.
my old review?
No, please don't. That would take like 5 minutes.
No, but it's fun. Let me find it. You have it in front of you. Do you want to read it?
Well, hey, um, I don't share your sentiment, so I won't have the emotion aspect. You know what I mean?
Okay, whatever. I'll read it. Okay, I
You're
pulled the
actually
quote.
reading it. You
Yeah, why not?
mad?
Why not? Why not? So this is my review back in November. It starts with the quote that Peter said, "But he's always been dull" from the movie. And anyways, I go on to say, I've never seen a Martin McDonagh film that I've loved, and that hasn't changed today. I honestly don't understand the appeal of his quote unquote comedy here more than ever. I sincerely wish that I did. Everyone else seems to love this movie, which leaves me feeling quite a bit like Podrick. There was a long stretch at the beginning where I didn't crack a smile. The closest thing to a laugh were a few nose exhalations that were 60% artificial. I will gladly admit that sprinkled throughout Act 2, there were a handful of jokes that I actually found humorous. One or two got actual laughs out of me. Stuff I won't explain what those were. We'll talk about it later. There's not nothing here. It's just dull. Several times I found myself checking my watch. Aside, doesn't matter. I wasn't able to connect to it dramatically or emotionally either. I heard people sobbing behind me, but even the most emotional chill. But even the most emotional moments didn't stir anything in me. And to top it all off, the moral of the story is be nice. Okay, maybe I'm just dull. And then I had an edit,
Yes,
but we won't get into that.
that's a
That's just
great
what I.
reveal. I can't believe I
It's
didn't like it. Here you go.
thank you.
Liked.
It's a popular review of mine because anyone who hates the movie has to like scroll for the hate
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
So like I come up on there. Anyways, I kind of still agree with what I wrote. Maybe not the star rating, but like most of that is the same for me. Anyways, we have a
Dude,
synopsis
hey, like
that I
I
have to
said,
do.
comedy is subjective, so it's totally fair.
I guess, but also like drama is subjective because I didn't like the drama either. So, anyways, I have to do a synopsis. So, um, if you haven't seen the movie, I will explain it in under 2 minutes.
Yes.
Pew 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 pew. I got the spoiler
Okay.
warning on time this time.
Thank you. I have a phone. I am able to do
Alright.
it myself, even if you guys aren't. But I think this will be easy. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So basically, Podrick and Colm were friends, but when the movie starts, Colm has decided not to be friends anymore, and Podrick is sad. The end. Um, other stuff happens in between. Colm says that he wants to dedicate his life to making music. Podrick is just very confused for a long time. He's got a friend, Barry Keoghan, who's Dominic, and a sister, Siobhan, and everyone's just kind of like, wait, why are you guys not friends anymore? Like, everyone is confused. And basically, at some point, Colm says, if you keep like bothering me and not leaving me alone, because he's just so persistent, I'm going to start cutting off my fingers. And then Podrick keeps bothering him, and Colm starts cutting off his fingers. First, it's one finger, and he throws it at the door, and he's like, "Okay, well, that's really fucked up." And then there's still kind of like going to the bar and stuff, and Podrick is trying his best to like cope, I guess. 1 minute, and um, then he keeps bothering him. At one point, he gets drunk and he like rants at him, and but Colm actually kind of likes it when he's mad and drunk because that's when he's interesting. Eventually, Colm cuts off the rest of his fingers on his left fiddle hand and throws them all at the door. The sister leaves for a job on the mainland at a library. Um, and the donkey, the miniature donkey, what's her name? Jenny, chokes on one of the fingers and dies, makes Podrick very mad. And he's decided to swear revenge on Colm. And he tells him he's going to burn his house down, except for the dog. And he burns the house down, even though Colm is inside. And somehow Colm lives and is on the beach the next day, and the dog runs up to him and they talk, and then they say, "Okay, bye," and that's it. Also, it's the Irish Civil War, and done. Easy.
Dude,
easy.
you forgot. You
What?
forgot about Dominic's dad, abusive father, and also Dominic killed
Oh, true.
himself.
Okay,
true.
good to know. I actually lost my AirPod connection. That's not good. Bad.
And there's also
There we go.
this witch character.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I got the
Yeah,
main
true.
points. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
you got the
but
main
yes,
points.
there's an abusive dad, and Dominic dies, and scary witch lady, and she basically like predicts death. Yeah. Anything else?
That's all I
Oh,
got.
and Dominic tried to
Oh, he tried to
confess
Oh.
his feelings.
Yeah.
That's the best I could do.
He
to
protest her.
Siobhan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like,
Yep.
nope.
Yep.
She's like, nope. But
She's like, no.
we're like, yep.
We're like, yeah.
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 All right, so let's get into our spoiler discussion. Let's start off with fuck you, Peter. Let's start off with our favorite parts. Who is
Yep.
a favorite part?
Why don't you go, Peter? Because you were the you were the most excited about this movie. What was your favorite part?
Wow, there's so many. Like, there are like peak comedic moments. Okay, before I get into my favorite part, I just want to give a huge shout out to the bar owner.
Oh, he's funny.
So funny. Holy shit. Like, he's not like the main cast or anything, but I think I will have to talk about, guys, I'm gonna start us off a little heavier today. I'm gonna talk about Dominic professing his feelings to Siobhan.
That's what's gonna be my pick. Yeah, I love that moment.
You guys are
Yeah.
weird.
Good. I just thought it's like a very well acted scene. Like, so basically, just to provide a little bit of context, so Dominic is like, not like the brightest. You know, he's like considered like really strange by the villagers, and
He's the town dimwit.
Yeah.
basically.
yeah, here you go. Yeah,
The village idiot,
Um,
one might say.
Yeah.
but
I like
like,
mine better. Town
Well,
dimwit.
But mine's the actual term. That's the thing.
Okay.
Aiden's got the cultural reference. So like he, but like one thing that we see throughout the movie is that despite like being like little stupid intellectually, he's like very very authentic. You know, when it comes to his emotion, his feelings, and his opinions, which is one thing that like really makes you bond and like the character. And then in this moment, he is sort of just approaching Siobhan while she's sort of having a tough situation in her life, in that her brother is fighting with Colm, and then also like she's not getting treated seriously because like none of the villagers really like talk, or like she doesn't really interact with a lot of villagers. She's like lonely, I think. And then also it's just like the fact that she's very knowledgeable for the village, and then she's also trapped in this little island instead of looking for a career elsewhere. So this is like the context. So Dominic approached her and then saying like, so you wouldn't be interested in a guy like me, right? Like, he's like very very doubtful and like not confident at all, but that's what makes it so great, because it's authentic and true to his character. But Barry Keoghan is such a great actor that not only it's like comedic in the moment, but also it's, you feel great sadness for him, that he is like has the courage to confess his love for her, but like in the end, like we all know, like both us and I think him and Siobhan at the moment, both we all know that it's not going to work out. And like the fact that, you know, like we see like him walking away awkwardly, toying with the cap, and then Siobhan like, you know, feeling bad about rejecting him, but like in reality, like she wouldn't be someone that's right for him. Like all that just perfectly captured by that little scene over there. So I just thought it was very beautiful.
Yeah, I agree that it's really beautiful. I like that. Again, I think you're right. I think every character like feels very alone. I think the movie plays with the idea of like, you know, like some people just aren't right for each other, and sometimes like even when you're with other people, you can still feel alone if you don't feel fulfilled in certain ways.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
I think that like Jenny like has people around her. Jen, that's not her name. That's the donkey.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Siobhan has people around her. But yeah, I think that like like she wants connection. She doesn't want to be alone, but like she couldn't be fulfilled by Barry Keoghan's character, and I think that like she kind of realizes in this moment as well that like no one in this small island village like really
Mm-hmm.
could fulfill her at all. And I think that that's why like one of my other like really favorite moments, and I just bring this up because it ties in, is when she's just in her bed crying. Well, not only because like it's a beautifully acted moment, but just like the grief of being that isolated even when you're with other people. And I think that speaks to the biggest strengths of this movie, which is that it's talking about like pretty simple and pretty like universal things, but in such a well explored and nuanced way that I
Absolutely.
think,
And
yeah.
just like add on to that little scene you mentioned, I really love how like after the bar sort of like drunken confession scene, the next morning, Podrick was like, "Hey, like I was really awful last night," but then Siobhan's like, "No, you weren't. Not to me," because like I feel like she lacks someone to acknowledge like her like her beauty in the in their life. And like Podrick, like I think during the confession he was like, and my sister, she's nice. Like just like the fact, just a simple acknowledgement really fulfilled her. Like I felt like
Yeah.
it fills her with genuine happiness that other people see her in that light, you know.
Yeah.
I almost think like the rejection of Dominic is kind of like that deciding moment of like I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
She's rejecting the dull, dim-witted character who kind of represents the whole Isle of Inisherin.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of speaks to like her wider decision of like needing to move on to like this place for her is like kind of like a prison or like it's holding her back, I guess. And that's kind of like your choice is either stay here, get married to someone like Dominic, even if it's not him per se,
Mm.
like because she still lives with her brother,
Yeah.
and like they live. I don't. I still think that's weird because they're like 40 or 50 or something. Like not 50, probably in their 40s, but like very old to be living together.
I think in
And
that time and in that setting, it's not as weird.
I figured like there it must be normal because no one talks about it.
Yeah.
But I also like how that scene starts with like the old woman kind of like beckoning her into the lake, like
Mm-hmm.
come kill yourself. It's interesting. I don't. What
Yeah.
do you guys think about that?
I think it's kind of what you're talking about, where it's like she's like gonna die, like if she stays any longer. You know what I mean? Like no, like
She's gonna die.
no, I think
I
like
just like the way you said it.
it feels like very dire to her. Like this is like
Hmm.
because I really like how this movie is exploring this idea of your your responsibility and your relationships to others versus your own personal ambitions and your own personal goals, and how those things conflict and interact. And I think yeah, it really feels like she cannot live a balanced life. She's living completely for everyone else on this island because nothing there is bringing her personal fulfillment. And so it's like this community is like death to her. Like it's like staying here is like the death of her own personal um like passions, which is like a overall death, you know.
I 100% agree. But I think it's also very tough for her because like if we look at it throughout the movie, when Jenny the donkey goes inside, she was complaining about how like Jenny basically was shitting all across the house,
Mm-hmm.
and like she's the one making dinner, making food for Podrick. Like basically, she felt like she has a responsibility to take care of Podrick,
Mm-hmm.
especially in such a vulnerable state that he's in. But then also, it's like literally, Podrick is a guy who goes in town, drinks from like I don't know 6 to like 9, and then comes back, eats some food, go to bed, and then next day repeats. Right? Like it's like for like she's basically taking care of someone who's taking a pause in his life. He's not advancing forward in any means, Podrick, but like like you said, Aiden, she's sacrificing her own ambition to take care of someone that she felt responsible for, and I felt like that's like her central conflict. It's like, should I stay for him or should I pursue my own passion? Which in the end, she decided to pursue her own passion.
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty clear parallel between Siobhan and Calm. Like,
Yeah.
and it starts when he says something to her that sets her on this path throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's early on when, like, I don't know, Act One or something. Oh, I remember because I paused it and I watched it again, and it was right at the end of Act One. He says something like don't you, I don't know what it is, but like as she's leaving she goes to the bar to defend Podrick, and he
Mhm.
says like something like, don't you think there's more to life or something, and she's like really shook about that,
Mhm.
and she like looks back as she exits the pub.
Mhm.
um and yeah, like I find like those are both characters who are like one of you said is like are looking after Podrick. Like that's all they're doing in life is, you know, Siobhan is actually looking after him and like doing laundry and cooking and whatever. And Calm is like just putting up with his chatter like the rest of the time. Like they've split shifts on Podrick duty, and they're both realizing like, isn't there more to life than dealing with Podrick?
Yeah.
And they want to put themselves into other things. So Colin wants to go into the artistic realm, and Siobhan wants to like apply herself in like academics and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's also like in that contrast with like, so they are people who, you know, their own personal ambitions versus their relationships aren't necessarily aligned. But for Podrick, like those things are one and the same. Like his main goal in life is to just like be part of this community, and it's crumbling apart for him. And I think so. I think that's a very interesting layer in that theme. I really like how like and how he has to kind of learn to divorce that, like he has to reevaluate himself a little bit, and he has to like he doesn't really understand what he wants outside of what other people want for him or what his community responsibilities are. And yeah, I really like that as well.
He lives a very like simple existence,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of living day by day, and other people are realizing maybe there's more to life than day by day. Maybe we can have a greater purpose, I guess.
Well, I feel like that entire island is sort of in the same boat, you know? Like they have a very, I guess, routine and like scheduled way of living, where like, okay, it's Sunday, we're gonna go to church, do the confession, and then go back, keep drinking. Next day, keep drinking. Oh, it's Sunday again, time to go to church. Like there's like not a lot of progression for these folks on the island. And I felt like it's really interesting how I remember this conversation between Colum and Podrick towards the end of the movie, I think, where they comment that the Irish Civil War was literally happening like a couple miles away off the shore. Like I think literally across the bay or the sea or something, where history is being made and like shit's going down on history books. It like that type of shit's happening, and while they're just there like casually living, drinking, and then like it's very different if you compare these two. One is um like you're sort of progressing history literally, and then the other one is you're sort of just standing around and walking in circles with your life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
Mm.
Does anyone else have a favorite part of the movie? Aiden?
I'm looking over my notes right now, and I'm trying to figure out. I guess I can talk about.
If you don't have a favorite part, I have a favorite part.
Sure, why don't you go,
Like,
and then I'll think about it more.
Explicitly, like, okay, yeah. Tell me if you have a favorite part.
Sure.
When you think of one. My favorite part, and there's a part like I truly liked, is Podrick when he's drunk. Drunk Podrick like yelling at Calm like is so funny. So he walks up. It's great. It starts.
Yeah.
He's like he's had enough to drink, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna do this. There's a dolly shot that follows him as he's walking, and he pushes Dominic to the side, like smushes his face as he's walking past. Great. Then he goes. You know, there's 3 things I hate about Inisherin. 1, policemen. 2, pudgy fiddle players. 3. And like as he's counting, like
What's
he's
3?
no, as he's counting, like his fingers are like just entering the frame, which I think is so funny. And he goes 3. Oh shit, I had a really good one for 3. And then he goes, okay, let me start over. 1, policeman. 2, and the policeman goes, pudgy fiddle players with his hand. like his hand is pointing at calm, but he does it so funny, like nudge nudge. I just love the acting, and it's a very funny moment. So that's what I really liked. Anyone else like that bit?
And
Or
honestly,
no
like I
script?
thought, like the messaging in that scene is very, very interesting. It's like, yes, being nice won't get you anywhere when it comes to history book, but is that really why we live life for? You know, like for the point of legacy? Is it not just like to take care and like cherish the people around us? You know?
Yeah, it's also this idea of like that is a legacy too. Like the legacy you leave of he was this person who took care of the people around him and was kind and open and generous. Like that is as valid, if not more valid, than being written about in a history book. And
Mm-hmm.
so I like this idea that's like there are different legacies you can leave. And it's like, well, you understand Colm's struggle and why what his like ambitions are. It is kind of like this idea of like these illusions of grandeur that are kind of like incepted into your head. Like, yeah, you could like be written about in history books, but your legacy also could be that you're kind and generous and took care of the people around you. And I think that like that will pass on longer than you think, and it will pass on within the people who are really important to you. And I think that like there are like while it's very valid to like want more from life, it's like, well, what is more? Like, do you need to be like this great person? Is that really going to bring you fulfillment, or is that just something that you've been like taught to strive for? Because
Mm-hmm.
growing up, you're always like admiring whoever that's written
The
about.
grades, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
and
and
it's like that is potentially an empty pursuit, and I think that's what I like about this scene is that it's not saying it is or it isn't, but like you have to be careful with how you're spending your time, like because even things that you think are worth your time could be a very hollow pursuit.
Are we talking about the bar scene still?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you guys are really reading into it. I just thought it was funny. Okay.
And honestly, Aiden, I thought like the other thing that's the scene highlight is how desperate Colum is. It's like it's not just the pursuit of legacy that interests him. Like he literally feels like time is running out for
Yeah.
him. You know, like he said, he thinks he's gonna die soon, and he's afraid that he's not gonna be able to leave anything behind. There's not gonna be a legacy. You know.
Yeah, and Brendan Gleeson is so good at getting that across like that.
Right.
I just
Uh,
love it. Yeah, I do. The performances are really good. We've already said it, but yeah.
yeah, I'm a big Brendan Gleeson fan. There's one of his movies I haven't seen yet that I really want to see called Cavalry. I forget if that one. I think that one has like mixed reviews maybe. But one movie that I have seen of his that I would recommend is the Guard. The
Mm.
Guard. It's
Mm.
from 2011, and him and oh fuck, what's his name? War Machine.
Don Cheadle.
Thank you. Don Cheadle are like two cops, and it's like a comedy. Man, do I love that movie. It's like The Nice Guys in Ireland, sort of.
Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah. So one thing that's really good in this movie is the dialogue.
True.
Martin McDonagh is a playwright most of the time, and then he's kind of like forayed into film here and there, and so he's really quite skilled at writing clever dialogue. And I think for me, like that's one of the few things that I really did like in this movie. That between that and the acting, I think there's just very clever lines. Do you guys have any that you found were particularly good?
I wasn't thinking about like particular lines. I was just thinking about like how well realized the characters are even on the script. Like I think that every single line feels like so specific to that character, and that's what I love about it a lot.
Absolutely. Feel very genuine.
Okay, I have some lines that because I like
Okay.
writing down those specific lines.
I'm interested.
Um, okay, here's one. Brennan or Podrick. Podrick is telling the fiddle player what happened. 'Cause
Oh!
he's telling a lie to the fiddle player, and he says, you know, your dad died from a bread fan, and the fiddle player goes, "That's how me mummy died.
Yeah.
If it's the same fucking bread fan." I really like the scene when Dominic is having dinner with them, and he says "touche" in conversation, and and
Oh, yeah.
Podrick is confused. He's like, "To what?" And he's like, "Touche." From the French, and then everyone just gets really quiet because it's like clearly Podrick is stupid, like he didn't get touche, like that's the implication. There's another one from that same scene where Dominic is like, "Man, this house is fucking depressing," and Siobhan goes, "Well, I've heard your house is a barrel of fucking laughs."
Yeah.
What else? Have you seen your sister naked? Is very interesting line. Oh, and then he says like, "Have you seen your sister naked?" And he goes, "Sisters with no clothes on."
You have to
I think
explain it. Yeah.
in the same scene, he goes, "Reading, fucking hell." What else? I like this scene. I don't have a specific line, but the scene where Colm was like, it's Coleman the priest, and the priest is like, "Are you having impure thoughts about Podrick?" And he goes, "No, are you?" And he's like, "How dare you say that about a man of the cloth?" Anyways, that's my little contribution for the pod.
Dude, that little bit was so funny though. It was literally like, so I'm not getting forgiven. And it's like, what if I die between now and next Sunday? I guess then I'm fucked. And then the priest is like, "Yeah, you are fucked." And then started screaming, and then came out of the confession booth and was like, "Yeah, you are fucked." And then he pointed a finger at the next one in line.
You get in the confession.
So funny.
Yeah.
Let's go.
There's funny movies. What am I saying?
Dude,
There's
there are
bits
funny
in this movie.
movies in this
There are
movie.
funny movies in this movie. This isn't really a line of dialogue, but I also like how Podrick says something like, "You're always hiding behind walls to avoid Mrs. McCormick," and then later he hides behind a wall to avoid her.
Yeah.
Great
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, this movie was also directed by Martin McDonagh.
It was.
And maybe some people have some opinions on Martin McDonagh they'd like to share. Or maybe Aiden's just gonna sneeze.
I think it's actually leaving now. It was
Okay.
coming and then it went.
Okay, Peter.
like I know you aren't the biggest Martin fan.
I'll get into my opinions later.
Yeah. I enjoyed all his movies. I have not seen the. I think there's one movie that came out in 2012. Let me try to find it. What is it called?
This is a fun interlude.
Yeah, I have not seen The Seven Psychopaths, but I've seen basically every other Martin McDonagh movie, which aren't that many, by the way. I enjoyed all his movies. Like I felt like I'm very into character driven and character centric movies, and I felt like every one of his movies did that for me. You know, you connect with the characters, and then you had like an emotional impact at the end. So yeah, I like it.
This is crazy. Sorry. Finish your thoughts. Sorry.
I'm good. Go for it.
Okay. I have seen every single one of Martin McDonagh's movies.
No way.
Like, I'm not counting short films or this live theater.
Uh-huh.
He's done. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at writing. Maybe he's directed more. Nope, that's it. So he's made 4 movies. They are In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, 3 Billboards, and The Banshees of Inisherin. That's it.
Yeah.
He also produced The Guard.
I'm pretty sure it's his brother, right? Like it's John Michael McDonagh did.
That has to be.
The Guard.
Yes, brother is the playwright and filmmaker Martin McDonagh. Well, that explains that. Yeah, I guess I'll go into my thoughts on Martin McDonagh.
Sure.
So I've seen all of his films, and I don't really like them. As I said in the review.
Well, you see all of his films.
Yeah, and I can easily say that I'm not a big fan of Martin McDonagh movies.
Why do you watch all of his films and don't like him?
Well, because I'm not gonna hold if I don't like his other 3 movies, I'm still gonna be like, well, maybe this new one's good if everyone's saying good things about it. you know, and they're all famous movies.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, um,
Guys getting
so
baited every time.
sure. Anyways, like people love In Bruges, and I don't think it holds up very well to the modern era.
No,
Um,
it doesn't. Yeah, I agree with that.
Seven Psychopaths was like kind of disappointing, and I really like fuck, what's his name? Sam Rockwell.
Yep.
He's a guy I like a lot. Also, Colin Farrell. Three Billboards. Aiden hates. I didn't have such
You
strong
hate Three
feelings.
Billboards.
Yeah, that
Wow.
movie's.
We
I'll get
know.
into it. I'll get
Don't
into
do
it.
this again. We've done this at least twice
No,
on the podcast.
I'm not going to. I'm going to briefly say that. You go. You go.
Okay. I don't have such strong feelings, but I definitely like saw it, and there's one sequence that I distinctly remember. It's the what do you call it? Brutal action
Sam Rockwell, like,
brutality, police brutality. Is
Oh,
the police brutality scene is like ingrained in my brain because it's like a one shot,
oh.
and it's just I was like, whoa, what the fuck is Sam Rockwell doing to those poor guys? So I remember that really well. But other than that, like the movie didn't. I was like, okay. And then Banshees. So I'm just yeah, that's my history with Martin. How about you, Aiden?
Yeah, so I've only seen this and Three Billboards. I will just briefly say I think Three Billboards fucking sucks. Like I think that like some of the character work is good for sure. I think he's very good at like directing actors in interpersonal scenes, 100%. My problems with that movie, like the points that movie is making and the ones it thinks it's making, it's it's dumb. It's very clearly a movie about like American problems written by a non-American, like very obviously.
Mm.
Um,
that's
but whatever,
interesting.
whatever. Anyway, in this movie, I actually really like the directing. I think it's very focused on what it's supposed to be. I like the shot choices. I like that again. It's not like you're not doing too much with the shot choices. I like that it's very natural lighting, which I know that that's not. I'm getting a little bit away from directing, but I just mean the overall vision of the movie. I think is very focused on like just these interpersonal relationships, which is like the heart of the story. And I think that the directing actors is great. I think it shows like the performances are great and the chemistry is great. And I don't think you can get there without great directing. So I think this movie is incredibly well directed.
And honestly, like, I don't remember Three Billboards that well because I've seen it a long time ago now. Like, but I personally, I really felt for Woody Harrelson's character, you know, like when
Oh right, I
like
forgot he was in that.
quick pew 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 spoiler.
Pew, pew, pew.
But like he dies in this movie because of cancer. But
He
like
kills himself, doesn't he?
or he killed himself. I
I think
forgot.
it's a little bit of both. So.
Yeah, he has cancer
Yeah.
and then he kills himself. I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. And like I thought, like just like listening to his voice memo after his death, and then seeing like the legacy he left for Francis McDormand's character, in like the form of billboards. It's a very moving scene. Like after all the things that's happened in the movie, like him sort of dismissing her, sort of like well, there obviously it's a little more than that. It's layered, but like it's very moving scene for me. Like I cried when that scene happened.
Oh,
Whoa, you cried? No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. I only do it ironically, to
Yeah, I've
make
never
fun
cried.
of you. Yeah, I think for Banshees, like I think the directing is like it's pretty good. I don't think it was anything that like really stood out to me, which is sometimes the mark of a good direction.
Mhm.
yeah.
I think there's like some pretty solid moments where I was like, yeah, that's a good composition. Like it works really well. So like the ending is it's nice. With like the two shot on the beach, that's
Yeah.
nice. And I guess also the two shot at the lake. Whoa, parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Like I don't really have strong thoughts on this direction.
Yeah, but
it's decent.
But it's okay, but like it's not supposed to stand out to you. Like it's
I
not
know.
it's not supposed to be something that's like jumping in your face. It's focused and specific. There are shots that communicate, and again, like this is the main job of director is directing actors. But like I think the way scenes are covered is still incredibly well done. There's so many shots that I think there's one that I talked about where it's Podrick just sitting in the bar or the pub, and he's just it's near the beginning of the movie, and he's just waiting for a calm, and
Yeah.
it's like such a good shot, and it just communicates like his loneliness so well. And I think that the scenes are like I think the right shot is chosen in almost every single scene, every single moment, and I think that the directing between the actors is great too. I don't know, like I just this isn't the type of movie where you're gonna be like again like if he tried to put like a oneer in this, that would be stupid. Like
No, yeah,
that would be a bad decision. You know
I
what I
agree
mean?
with you. I just find that the coverage he used, I did find myself going, I personally would not have done that, or I would not. Like
Whoa.
there's a lot of like sliders for
Mhm.
like conversations. Like that's something that was like not for me personally. And just some other things like yeah, I couldn't like summarize it completely, but um, what he chose was not necessarily things that yeah. I think I know what you're saying. Like it doesn't need to be flashy, and I agree. And I think sometimes I still didn't care for the directing personally, but
Mm.
I think, like we said, why don't we talk about the acting? Because we all seem to
Sure.
love the acting, and that is, like you said, half of the director's job is directing actors, and I think that's done very well in this movie.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the MVP?
I almost think I don't remember the actor's name. I almost think Siobhan, the actor. Like I know,
Carrie Condon.
Love
yeah.
Siobhan.
I really do think that like in a lot of ways, like she's like the heart of this movie, or at least the thing that kind of ties it together really well. I think that this movie like doesn't work very well at all if you don't have her there. If you don't like have like the tenderness mixed with like the frustration she brings, and how like every single line feels like she feels like she's at a battle with herself all the time, but she's like so overall like caring that she like that's what comes through anyway. Like she portrays this kind of like slightly tired feeling as well, like she's kind of worn down from living this life really well. Yeah, I think she's the MVP. I feel like every scene she's in is great. Um, yeah, I think in a movie full of great performances, she's the best one for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree. Peter, do you want to double down on that or?
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. Like, because I feel like she is like a deeply troubled person, but like you rarely see her show it. I think that's like one of the great part where like she like every scene basically every interaction she has with like someone else, she hides that feeling. She's still that loving caring sister when she's talking, but then when she's by herself she starts reflecting on whether this is the right place for her to be. And I really like that duality and how she's able to separate like these two sides of her. But like if I have to pick someone else, I would say it's probably, this is tough. Brendan Gleeson. Like
Yeah.
I think for me it's like a tough choice between Colin and Brendan because they're both fantastic in their own regards. But like Brendan's just like I'm just so much admiration for him for not laughing in these scenes. Because like if I'm opposite to at Colin Farrell in these scenes, I'll be laughing my ass off because they were actually genuine, very very funny dialogues, and the fact that he's able to deliver like that serious performance, because that's what makes the comedy work. If like he's not there to balance it out, it will not be funny. And like the fact that he's able to land that hit the spot every time to make the scene just so comedic is just, that's it for me. I would say Brendan Gleeson then.
Fair. Brendan Gleeson is very good in this movie. There was man, I don't even know where it is. It might be when guy Colin Farrell is walking his cows past. I
Mhm.
think it's that scene.
Yeah.
And Colin is sitting on the wall and he makes like a very strange face like he like his kind of jaw drops as if he's like but like his mouth is closed. I was just like,
Mhm.
whoa, what is he doing with his face? And it was really good though. I think
Yeah.
that was good acting. Anyways, if I had to pick someone, I might have gone with Carrie Condon, but
I think every one of us likes her.
Yeah, we all like Carrie.
Yeah, she's great.
For the sake of variety, I might honestly go with Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, he's great.
Like he's so different from that guy that he plays, Dominic. And just like I was watching him, like he's never not moving. Like he's always like shifting his body.
Yes.
And his eyes are always like all over the place. Like he's thinking about stuff. And I was like, whoa, there's like a whole like
dude, the subtle
there
details are great. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I think his character is just strong regardless, like well written. I like his bit with like the stick with a hook. That's pretty funny. Well, I wonder what this stick with a hook is for. I guess hooking things that are stick lengths away. That makes sense. Or but it's funny that like between the three of us, none of us mentioned Colin Farrell, who won a Golden Globe and an award at Venice for the Best Actor, and is one of the front runners for Best Actor at the
Oscars?
Oscars.
No way. That's crazy.
Probably. It's him, Brendan Fraser, and Austin Butler, I think, were the front runners, it sounded like. What do you guys think between those three?
I would be sad if Austin Butler won that, but that might just make my anti-Elvis bias keep creeping in. I mean, I think Brendan Fraser's great in The Whale. He's like the best part of it. I don't know. I'd probably give it to Colin Farrell though.
Yeah, I'd give it to Colin out of the three. I have not seen Elvis, but I'll say Colin, man.
I'm gonna look it up. I wonder if has he won before. I don't think so.
I don't. No, he has not won. I know
He's won
that.
2 Golden Globe awards, so no, I don't think so. I think it's overdue as well.
Yeah, and I do want to say, like, even though none of us mentioned him, like, he's amazing in this movie. Like, I wrote that note down multiple times watching it. Like, he's incredible in this movie.
Yeah,
and I actually think that it's because he's the main character, and because we spend the most time with him that like. Maybe just naturally some of the mystery of the character is gone a little bit.
He doesn't need to be highlighted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like for me, it's like when I look at the performance, like if someone is like very consistent and very good throughout, it almost means a little less to me than someone who's like a spark, here. Because I feel like these side characters, wherever they appear, it's like a joy to like spend some time with them on screen.
Sure. Yeah.
So like it's almost a little more special to me to see them, and so I feel like even more of a connection with them.
I think that's completely fair. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think. Oh right, okay. I totally forgot what I was going to say. And I was going to bullshit, but Colin Farrell, I think, overdue for an Oscar. Like he's been a fantastic actor for years, and this year especially. Like sometimes. I've heard that sometimes the Oscar goes to an actor, like even if the one they're getting nominated for wasn't their best performance of the year, like it kind of recognizes people's like general appreciation for them. So like this year, Colin Farrell had the Batman, where he was like Penguin. A complete transformation into the Penguin, and After Yang.
Yeah.
Like, he did After Yin. Yeah.
That's like 3 banger performances in a row.
Yeah.
So I think it's very well deserved. I mean,
I agree.
Brendaissance?
The Renaissance.
The Renaissance. I never remember what it is. But man, do I hate The Whale much more than I dislike this movie. And I feel safer giving it to Colin. I guess Brendan's my second choice, and then
I wouldn't be mad if either of those won. I'd be I don't dislike Austin Butler's performance. I'm sure he's great. I think the movie literally doesn't like show it off in any way that would make me care about it. So I think just by like the editing of the movie alone, you can't give it to him.
You can't do it.
You can't do it. Like
I almost think he could. He could win, and
I know, which would make me so bad. Like that would make me so upset.
Dude, fucking Rami what's his name? Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody, right?
Oh yeah,
Best actor.
Yeah, they love giving. Yeah, they love their like stupid, terrible biopics in Hollywood, and then rewarding actor who just like I ate fish 6 times a day for 7 months because I read in an interview once that Elvis liked fish. Shut up.
Well, bro, that's
Get out
hey,
of
that's
here.
what Leo did in The Revenant,
Yeah,
and it
I was
worked.
gonna say wrong guy. That
No,
was he
no,
was a
but like
vegan eating like bison liver. So
I was just
well,
giving like a random example, but like it's like the thing when I see the headlines where it's like Austin Butler permanently is gonna talk like Elvis. Like shut the fuck up.
Oh my god,
Fuck
I saw
off.
that.
Fuck off, man.
Did you see? Did you see like Vanessa Hudgens' comments on it as well?
I did see that.
Oh my
no, I
god.
didn't. Anyways, unless you want to keep talking about that,
No, I'm
We have a
done.
movie.
I have a
Yeah.
question for you guys.
Yeah.
This movie does a very interesting thing in that there's not really a status quo established before we get into the conflict.
Yeah.
Almost right away, we're introduced.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry, when we're introduced to Calm, they've already started the conflict. Calm
Yeah.
has decided prior to the movie starting that he is no longer going to be friends with
Yeah.
Podrick. Very interesting choice. What did you guys think?
I think it's great. I think like I was thinking about like how you would do that script, and I think that if you start it beforehand, I don't know if you'd buy the transition as much. Like I think you would either have to make it so that like Colm is too friendly to Podrick for the switch to make sense, or you'd have to do it in such a way that it's like, yeah, he clearly has a problem with him. So why are we even seeing this? Like I just don't know. I've been thinking about it, it's like why like I can't think of like what the point of an earlier scene would be other than
Yeah.
to establish it's other than to like do this typical screenwriting thing, which is
Yeah.
establish the status quo. But I think we learn about what the status quo is. I think we infer it. We get a sense of like what Coleman Potter's relationship was like, and I think that's better because we get to focus on how the characters are reevaluating themselves, especially Podrick, in the conflict. And I think that's the focus of the movie, and this allows us to focus on that.
Absolutely. And I also think just like it's like one of these things in life where you don't need a lot of context to relate to, you know? Because it's like we've all been there like we can all like relate to that feeling, you know, of like just well in this case pretty random but like the feeling of breaking up with like a friend, you know, or like some significant person in our lives. So
Yeah, okay.
not much else to say.
I think on a second watch, I definitely agree with the choice more. I think, just I was playing the scenario in my head as well, being like, like what if it did do the traditional thing, showing them as friends before going into it. I think it would just ring false.
Yeah.
You know, like it wouldn't come across as believable. Because you'd be like, oh, they're friends, or
yeah,
like,
it's almost felt like too sudden, you know, like especially
Yeah.
considering the movie's runtime as well.
like that would be something like I would expect in like a pure comedy, you know, like because it's just too absurd, I guess. Or the other option is like I was thinking like what if there was a scene where they're like hanging out at the bar and Podrick is rambling on and you can tell Colm's not into it. And I think that doesn't work either. I think it works very well by starting with that hook, like I'm not friends with you anymore, like almost instantly, and you're like, oh, we're just getting right into it. I think it's smart. Colm's house. No segue there. Just
Colm's house, great.
Colm's house. I just noticed while I was watching this time, it's decorated with like masks and puppets, and there's like one of those phonographs, and it's an artist's house.
Yeah, it's like the house of like a quote unquote cultured man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think that the masks or the puppets that are like it's fairly prevalent in the set design there? Do you think that's trying to say anything about the character beyond the fact that he's an artist?
Well, I think he feels like he's kind of like like losing a little bit of control. I think that's a fair thing to say. Like Peter was saying, like
Absolutely.
time is slipping away from him, and he's kind of like at the whim of these greater forces like Father Time and like ideas of legacy. That, and I think he is starting to feel like trapped, and so maybe yeah, like he feels a bit like, I guess there's maybe a connection to the puppet. I was thinking about it too, but I didn't come up with anything super concrete.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they directly draw attention to it because I think Podrick like puts it on.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because like he's been to his house before. Does he do that every time? You know, like, ooh, here's your mask. Ooh, ooh, you know. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like do you, like maybe Calm is someone who has been wearing a mask for a while and just kind of like putting up with Podrick.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, mask off.
Yeah, like future.
Mask
Yeah.
off, mask off. Yeah. But speaking of like puppets, religion's a big thing in this movie, and you might say we're all puppets of God if you believe in that sort of thing.
That's what I say.
So that's a great transition.
Thanks. I had to make up for the shit one. Like it's like there's so many shots where like crucifix are like in the foreground and like or in the background, but it's like huge, and there's like the Virgin Mary at the crossroads, like all over the place. Iconography. I think Martin McDonagh is trying to say something to us. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing that I noticed as well, and I was thinking about a lot. And like, there definitely could be a deeper point about religion, but I always took it as like just a constant reminder of how tight knit this community is. Like, they're all part of this one communal organization, which is in this case Christianity. Like, they all go to church, and like there's an aspect of religion that isn't just theological and spiritual. Like, it's just like literally like physically what you're doing, like the things you attend, and outward expression. And I think like, yeah, I think it provides us the idea of like, they are all in the same bucket, they're all in the same boat here. Like, they all go to the same church, they're that tight knit. I think it ties into the ideas of like gossip, like when they go to church, like we see like people gossiping and stuff when they go in, and they all gather. And yeah, I took it as like there might be something more going on there, but that's the main way I was interpreting it.
Yeah, I was struggling with it after the first one. I was like, after the first viewing, like I was like, for sure that he's trying to say something, but I couldn't figure it out. And I think maybe it has to do with the idea of being nice and legacy. And I almost wonder if it's the counterexample to what they're saying, is that here's, Jesus Christ is probably the best example of someone who is remembered for being nice, right? And I think, yeah. So like, I think it's, it's like I said, it's the counterpoint to Colm's argument that you'll never be remembered for being nice. Well, look at Jesus. People are.
Oh, that's interesting.
The entire community is obsessed with this guy.
That's how can't get enough of this Jesus guy.
Get over it. And yeah, like basically, his whole thing was being nice. And what's also interesting about Jesus is what kind of makes him also famous is not only that he was being nice. Fuck off, Peter. I don't know what you're laughing at. But also that people were mean to him and killed him for being nice. Sound familiar? It's kind of like what the Banshees of Inisherin is like. Maybe? What do you think?
Well, you kind of lost me at the end there, but yeah, I agree with. I agree. I think that's for the most part very interesting to consider. Yeah.
Who are you referring to for the Banshees of Inisherin?
Yeah, there's this movie we watched called The Banshees of Inisherin.
I know, but like which character though?
Yeah, I don't really know what you're talking about either there.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying like, okay, so like Jesus was like betrayed by Judas.
Sure.
And that's why and he got put up on the crucifix.
Sure.
I don't know why I don't subscribe to that thing, so
It
don't
was
really
he was like
know.
speaking against like the Roman Empire.
Okay,
They didn't,
yeah, I
they
was
didn't
gonna
like
say
him
like I
and
don't know
stuff.
the lore. I don't know the Jesus lore, so sue me if I'm wrong about some of these things. But and then here's Podrick, who's trying to be super nice, and he had a friend, just like in many ways, like Jesus had a friend in Judas, and the friend betrays him so that Silver. Yeah, no, I don't have anything deeper than
Dude, that's
it's kind of
like
like
tinfoil hat on
I do.
top of
I
tinfoil
do.
hat,
very.
bro.
It's like a blanket idea.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
it's not like a direct. You know, like this
Sure.
point, this point, this point, this point matches. It's like a blanket.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
It's like a blanket, guys. That's
Hey,
what
Yeah.
I can say.
I do want to talk to you guys about something.
Sure.
He wants to
Um,
talk to us about something. Let's hear it.
So this is a very random thought, but
That's what
like I
we're here
just
for.
so basically when I first saw the trailer of this movie,
Okay.
like he basically mentioned like every time you talk to me, I'm going to cut off one of my fingers, right? In the trailer.
Yes.
And we saw the dog sort of carrying the shear away from him, and then
Mhm.
he was like laughing. So I thought like before like watching this happen, I thought like the cutting off finger thing is supposed to be like an empty gesture, like an empty threat, you know, like he's never actually gonna do it because the
Okay.
dog was carrying it away. But then the movie fucking shocked me with a fucking finger in the garden.
Mm.
Anyways, that's just something I want to talk to you guys
I
about.
just want to, yeah. I want
I
to say
didn't
that
expect him to actually do it.
I'm 0% shocked. Like
Really?
once you set that up, like that's gonna happen,
Yeah,
like
you have to
for
do it.
sure. If that's in the
It's
trailer,
Chekhov's
man,
finger.
it's Chekhov's finger. Like I don't, I knew as soon as I saw it in the trailer, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna cut off his fingers. That's gross, but anyways.
Yeah. Also,
Speaking,
if we're talking about Jesus, hand mutilation. If we're trying to draw parallels.
Ayo,
Yeah.
it's the
General.
same.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you guys. Anyways, speaking of Jesus and fingers,
Yeah.
let's talk about a little donkey called Jenny.
Yeah. That
Um,
was sad.
was it? Was it sad? for
Yeah,
you
that
guys?
was sad.
You
My
didn't think that was
God, dude.
sad?
Fuck, heartless bastard over here. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Jesus Christ, you're
Oh,
right.
oh,
um,
dude.
I can start, sure, but like, yeah, like I get it. Animals, cute. I agree. I like animals.
Oh, it's more than that.
When
Yeah.
animals die, sad. I agree. This one just like did not move me in any way. I was like, oh, that's too bad.
Aiden, you
Where's
want
the
to take
donkey?
this?
Well, I don't know that
Wants
much
to
to say to it. It's just like that's like his only friend. Like it's like he's someone who needs like friends and needs people in his
Yeah.
life. And this is
Mhm.
someone who is like this is a living being that is like unconditionally his friend and wants to be by his side all the time. And just like
Yeah.
completely innocent and caught in the crossfire.
Exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my God. So well put. And also, just want to add that I think it's like the day after the bar, drunken confession at the bar. Um, the Jenny was in the house and Siobhan was mad, but then Podrick was explaining, it's like, I'm all like Jenny's always by my side when I'm sad or something like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
even though I feel like Podrick has like, it's not like the same as Dominic, but like he also has trouble connecting with people, Podrick. And the fact that he finds comfort and almost asylum when connecting with animals is just like, it's like a different way of conveying his loneliness. And the fact that now he's lost his best friend, he's not great with he's not great with Dominic, and now Jenny is dead. It's just like getting worse and worse for him, you know.
Yeah.
And then Jenny's death was indeed what pushed him over the edge. And also, did Siobhan leave before or after that? I think it's before, right?
Before.
So yeah, again, like his sister's gone, his best friend's gone. Now his donkey's gone. So
Yeah,
Did you guys cry?
I didn't
sorry.
cry, but I found it very, very sad.
yeah, it was very, very sad.
You made a point.
Alex just like, nah, not my donkey.
I like how you say donkey. You say it like donkey, like with a U, like Dunkaroos, donkey,
Donkey.
donkey,
Donkey.
donkey. Aiden, you do it. Donkey.
Donkey.
Dude, what are we turning into? Oh my
Anyways,
god.
you know what's really interesting?
What
Podrick
is
has
really
no
interesting?
friends by the end of this movie.
Uh-huh.
He loses like literally everyone in his life.
He does lose
Yes.
everyone in his life.
People, you know, what's his face?
Except he has a new
Colm.
friend called Arson.
And he has shared custody
Oh
with the
my
dog.
god.
No, like Calm refuses to be friends with him, and I do find that very interesting. So it's the whole thing starts with Calm saying, "I'm not going to be friends with you." Then everyone else in his life leaves or dies, and then all that's left is Calm, and he still can't.
Yeah.
Right, like it's
It's
so
ambiguous
close.
in the ending. I felt like
No, it's not. It's not ambiguous. They're not friends anymore. But I think what's interesting is also like Colm says, "Okay, we're even now." Like kind of like half extending the olive branch, even though
Mhm.
he won't be like friends with him still. Like they could be at least neutral.
Yeah.
And like Podrick says, "No, fuck you."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like the idea that it's like this very like realistically mundane disagreement like escalated into this insane like feud that
Mhm.
became like very violent. And yeah, I like I think that's an interesting arc that Potter goes on where he kind of just becomes like all he has left is like his resentment in the end.
Yeah. I don't know. Where do you guys want to take this? Maybe.
I think I've said my piece, to be honest. Like
I think I've said just about everything I want to say about
Yeah.
this movie too. I know you have a
There's-
point here about Civil War, but
Yeah, actually. So let's talk about Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
You
guys
guys
Team
are
Iron
all
Man?
one-
Yo,
you guys
guys.
are all one today. You guys are too funny.
Yo,
Holy
guys,
shit.
Team Cap, right? Team Cap.
Team Cap. I
Bro.
rewatched that movie, and even though I said I was Team Iron Man the first time, I think I did switch to Team Cap.
Dude, Bucky's too cute, man. What can I say?
Fucky.
I wasn't ready to
Forgot
take
you
it
said
that
that
far,
one.
but
No, I mean I don't like him. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
fucky. Not he wants to fucky.
Yeah.
Fucky. He wants to no. Anyways, yeah. So there's a civil war going on.
Sure.
That's where it's set. I'm not sure the point is much deeper than sometimes people fight and it's civil, like it's people from the same team or something.
Sure.
And
Mhm.
Yeah, I think like it's like that, and then maybe the idea of like a battle that will just like continue to spiral on with no end, maybe. But
Sure.
I don't think I don't think the movie is trying to serve as like an allegory for the Civil War. Like
yeah, I don't think so.
not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so I gotta give you guys a very short anecdote. Before watching this movie, Alex put the idea in my head that you need to know the Irish Civil War to get the wider context.
It's funny because then I did not do that. Like
Yeah.
I told you, I was like, "Oh, it's about that." So like, you should probably know what it is.
And like I got reminded of this when I was looking at my ticket. I was like, oh shit, it's a Banshee of Inisherin. I gotta watch like a YouTube video, and I was like late for my movie as well, so I had to like watch it along the way as I'm getting to my theater. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't finish the lore video. I'm gonna not have a good time in the movie. I was getting like all nervous, you know. And then the Civil War is mentioned twice in the entire film. Thanks, Alex.
It's okay. Calm down. It's good contextual
No,
information.
it is good information, and I think like it is related because like the Irish Civil War is sort of like a continuation of the Irish English War initially, and like I think the concept of like originally all the Irish people banded together and like fighting England, and then because of the differences in whether to accept England's truce treaty or not, friends have turned into enemies. And like I guess like if you really want to draw a connection, that's like the one thing I would draw, where two men were fighting on the same side the other day, and now there are enemies because
That's what a Civil War is.
Yeah, the Civil War. So
that's what a Captain America Civil War is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a point about death. I like that Mrs. McCormick is pretty well like the embodiment of death.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty interesting. She's
Mhm.
like really fucking creepy.
Still have no idea, because like I thought her presence is more like a cultural thing. It's like to add into the mystique and like give a little bit cultural vibe
No,
into the movie.
I I think it speaks directly to the themes in that
Mhm.
Kalma's he's not exactly afraid of death, but
Yeah.
he's concerned that with death kind of like on his mind, um,
Oh yeah,
Right
that's
around the
he
corner.
has yeah, and he feels that he hasn't done enough in his life
hmm
that's worthwhile. And I that probably also relates to the civil war going on nearby,
yeah.
because that was fairly deadly. Like I think if I got the figure right, I think I read that it was like 2,000 people died or something.
Mm.
So like not like a low number, like quite a few people died. Um, and then I mean also she predicts the deaths of two characters that are the result of this like kind of meaningless
Who else
feud.
died?
You know, the donkey and
Oh,
Dominic.
the donkey,
Yeah.
right?
Nicky the Nick, it's
Yeah.
Dominic the Donkey. No, no one else.
No,
It's
I
a
don't
real
know.
song.
No.
I know not what you speak
Really?
of.
That's fascinating. There's a Christmas song.
Oh.
Na, 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 na. Okay, you talk about something. I'll pull it up.
For sure. Yeah, no, I like I like that she's kind of the embodiment of death. I like that. I kind of talked about this a little bit where it's like for some people like it's like a death of the soul as well, like
Oh
like the
wow.
idea of like wasting your time and like I think and I think Siobhan is kind of the best example of that where it's like staying there would be like death to her. Like it would be like
Mhm.
confirming that she's never going to
Get
like
out.
do the
Yeah.
things she wants to do,
Mhm.
which is like a little death, and I don't mean in the French way. never
What?
mind, never mind, never mind,
I don't
never
know what you're
mind.
talking about. Anyway, speaking of French, here's Dominic the Donkey, the Italian Christmas donkey.
Wait, Dominic?
Hey, jingity jing. It's Dominic the donkey. Jingity jing. The Italian Christmas donkey.
Wait, Alex, why do you know this song? Is my
Yeah, I
question.
don't know this.
La 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 la.
Hey, do we have rights for that?
I thought it was Nicky D Nick, but
Hey, Alex, do we have
Whatever
rights for
they're
that?
saying,
Can you post
racist.
clips featuring that song?
I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Holy
It's-
We're
Dude,
actually
what if you
rebels
get
here.
sued, bro?
yeah, I'll get sued for this and not
Copyright
anything else.
complaint.
Not any other copyright we've been violating. Cut this. No. Anyways, why do I know that? Because I'm not Italian. Is the context for why you're asking? Because my parents definitely sang that at some point. I was like, oh, that's a song I know now.
Nice.
Nice.
Parents be like that sometimes, don't
Yes,
they?
I do.
Isn't it also in? Oh no, sorry, that's wrong. Why did Dominic die? I think I have an answer, but what do you guys think?
Well, like to me, I thought it's just like he's in an abusive family, so like he's not getting much, like like Aiden and I have talked about. Like everyone in this movie, at least like the main cast, are like lonely in one degree or another, and like Dominic is very much like he's already an outcast of the village, and he can find comfort and connection with his family, and now he's rejected by Siobhan as well, and and like Podrick isn't like great with him. Like Podrick is friend with him because of desperation, because Brandon's abandoned him. Sorry, not Brandon. Columns abandoned him.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like he just doesn't belong, and like we see the two characters that don't belong. Siobhan leaving the village and going to the mainland, pursuing her future, and I guess Dominic has chosen a path of death. So no future. um, yeah.
Yeah. I think that thing about future is really interesting. Like, Siobhan is trying to like better herself, and Colm is trying to better himself. and like Dominic doesn't really have anywhere to go, right? Like he tries to, like, quote unquote advance himself, but like by finding love with Siobhan, but that doesn't work out. But actually, I don't know that it's just his rejection from Siobhan. I think more of it has to do with the fact that Podrick is mean now, because there's that scene where they're sitting on the cliff and Podrick says he told the fiddle player to like that his dad died, um, and he was like, "You're mean now," and he liked him because he was nice, and now he's lost the only person who was nice to him.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
And when the Siobhan rejection happens, like it's the nail in the coffin, really. Yeah, it's probably Peter. Sorry, I get distracted when you guys use the chat. Aiden, we're just talking about Dominic and why he died. For context.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is right. I think you're mean now. Like I think that like he really feels like everyone's gonna be like what's the point of him being here if everyone treats him like shit? You know what I mean? Like this community is like everything to him, and he's maybe not able to survive and fend for himself outside of this community. And so if everyone is mean, even Podrick, then it's like, yeah, what's the point of any of this?
Yeah, there's just I think to summarize this movie, there's consequences to being mean. Donkey's gonna die. Dominic's gonna die. Dominic's the donkey is gonna be played the song, and that's the most unfortunate thing of all. Aiden, we have a segment.
We sure do. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but
you always do it?
but this podcast, it's called Predator versus Movies. We've done the movie part, and now we just gotta get into the Predator. So we asked the question: would this movie, The Banshees of Inisherin, be better if the Predator from Predator was in it?
Is that Natasha Lyonne?
Dude, that's Al Pacino, bro. What the fuck?
It's special guest Natasha Lyonne. How was Ryan Johnson? I was working with Ryan Johnson on his new series.
Russian doll.
No.
Wait, who are you trying to do?
That's the only thing I know her from.
I thought you were trying to do Al Pacino.
I was just doing a voice.
Okay.
Was not a particular.
Wikipedia has changed and I don't like it.
Oh,
Poker Face.
Okay.
It's a show called Poker Face for Peacock, created by Ryan Johnson. It's like a mystery, probably comedy a bit, but starring Natasha Lyonne. Anyways, that wasn't very interesting. Would this movie be better, though? That's the question, isn't it?
No.
Where would he fit? Dude, Predator just casually swimming in the ocean in one of these like beach scenes.
Is that something he's known for? Casually swimming?
I have no idea actually. Can Predator swim? Yeah.
That is the fourth time that question has been asked.
Really?
Yeah, we asked that. We asked that for Avatar for sure. I'm pretty sure we asked it for Wakanda Forever. Yeah.
We should have a count. Like, just keep a running tally of how many times Peter asked the same question.
I have no idea. I'll say
just be nicer. I think that's
Predator has to learn to be nice.
Predator gets into a bar fight.
Yeah.
Predator in the confessional.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Predator is Jesus.
There you go. Peter, we have a segment.
We do. Predator's
sorry, the idea that it's completely normal, but it's one detail that makes it an alternate reality, and that's that Jesus is canonically Predator in this universe. Like you see pictures of Predator in windows and stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah, the crucifix, the sad wooden crucifix, is Predator though.
Yeah.
Peter, we have a segment.
We do. Predator's picks. What have you guys watched the last week?
Who's going first?
I have one, or two. I'm very short. I've been watching the show Z-Way. Yep. Very funny show. I love that show.
Better than Barry?
Very different show.
Very different show.
Okay.
Z-Way is a talk show host, like late night talk show, but like for streaming, which is weird, I think. And it's like a young person. Anyways, very funny. I probably like Barry better though. Anyways,
Ooh.
Zero's great. Also watched a little movie from South Korea called Broker.
Oh, yeah.
Watched that with Aiden and friend of the podcast Ryan.
But that's not a small movie.
Well,
right?
sometimes I say things that aren't true.
Okay.
It's called Irony. And anyways, it's a movie called Broker. It stars the guy from Parasite, and it's the director who did Shoplifters, if you're familiar, from 2018. I think also one of the characters is a K-pop maybe person.
I read that too somewhere, but I didn't know who it was.
Neither do I. I don't know. So, but I did hear about it. Anyways, very interesting movie. I liked it quite a bit. Had some like things that I was like, and I'm not the only one. Some people were like, "Is that like leaning into pro-life?" And it seems to be like sometimes characters can say things, and that doesn't mean that's the movie's standpoint. So like, I don't know what the movie standpoint is, which is more important.
Sure.
But there's definitely like one line where they're like, killing a fetus is like killing a child, and you're like, oh no, why did it was abortion is like killing a child, and we're like, oh god.
I also, when I heard that line, I was like, is that what this is about? There's no fucking way. But I then was like, I think if you interpret that more charitably, like I felt that was more of a character thing for her. I don't think the movie was trying to be like pro-life or anything. But yeah.
But it's also very like, because like the whole thing is about adoption and you know, like, and found family, and then it goes to the bit about thank you for being born, and I was like that's a really nice sentiment unless you're looking at it with the pro-life lens. Then it's like, well, yeah, thank you for being born instead of aborted, you know, like it was a bit like, but I mean, as a movie, very good. Really strong direction.
I'll hop into because I also saw this movie. I'll just do this really quick. I thought this movie was really good. I liked a lot of the character work. There's some moments I think are great, but it's kind of hit or miss with some moments. Like there are some plot points I wasn't completely sold on. The movie has a habit of like something happens and it's like not clear that it happens, and then the movie has to explain what happened later. Like that happens a couple times. I was talking to Ryan about that, and he was like, "Yeah, I know what you mean." And so there's some things that are a little weird. I think that maybe some of the pacing is a little wonky. But yeah, I overall really, really like this movie as well.
I will add that also sometimes characters say the subtext.
Yeah.
Like they'll just straight up say themes. Like, I don't know. The only one I can think about is like, maybe you just need an umbrella for two, or like, you know, that line. I was like, okay, that's kind of saying what the thing is. Like, maybe don't. I don't remember. There were other bits, but otherwise, like I think that was a solid like 4. Like I liked it a lot. Not without flaws though. Aiden, do you want to finish your Predators picks? Because that's it for me.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'll speed run this because I actually watched a lot of things. But okay, so the first thing I watched was, I don't think I talked about this last week. I watched Solaris.
You did talk about it last week.
I did? Okay, well then never mind. Then don't worry about that. So I am in a screenwriting class for television.
Here we go.
As a result, I've watched 3 different full television shows over the past week or so.
How many seasons? How many episodes?
Of the first season. The first season.
I was gonna say probably not the whole.
Not full thing. Sorry, I've watched 3 first seasons.
That's still a lot, though. How many episodes?
Varied. I think most of them were like 8 or less. So it wasn't that great. It wasn't insane. But you were just
that's still a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what was the first one I was supposed to watch. Anyway, okay. I watched the show Great News, which is kind of like it's a Tina Fey produced sitcom. It's very much in the style of 30 Rock, if you've seen 30 Rock. I don't think it's as good as 30 Rock. I think that like it has a tendency to focus only on like 4 characters, and those 4 characters like kind of do the same thing a lot of the time. And it's like to me, like a show doesn't have to have A plot, B plot, C plot, D plot always going, but it's like I think it's kind of nice in this format. Maybe I'm just like, I know 30 Rock, and so I'm expecting that. But this show only ever has A plot and B plot going on, and it's just like, and so I feel like we kind of start retreading things. It's pretty funny though. It's very millennial, so there's some things where I'm like, okay, like whatever. But it's like, it's very much a millennial show. But I think it might be worth checking out if you like sitcoms a lot. Next show I had to watch was God's Favorite Idiot, and oh my fucking god, this was a punishing watch. I really really disliked this show. Like there are some parts that like were funny, but because I was so beaten down from this, I just couldn't enjoy it. Like, oh my god, like there's so much riffing. Like there's so much. It's like the show goes like this, where it's like a plot point happens, and then characters like do a bit for 3 minutes, and then something else that's has to do with the story happens, and then we go back to more riffing. And like this actually, like, it cost me like pain to watch this show. I did watch it. I watched it all in one sitting because I had a free afternoon where all I had to do was like administrative stuff, like sending emails. So I just watched it while I was doing that. It's, but like, oh my god. So maybe watching it in one sitting made it worse. But holy shit, was not a fan of this.
I was just looking it up. So that's a Melissa McCarthy and
Yeah.
her husband Ben Falcone
Yeah.
show. I've literally never seen this in my life.
Yeah. It's don't. I finished Murderville. I think I talked about Murderville last week. It's like the Will Arnett improv show. It's pretty funny. I think that out of the 3 comedy shows I watched, that was probably my favorite one. Although I liked Great News too. It wasn't bad. Anyway, then the other show that I had to watch was Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, which, if you don't know, is an anthology horror series. It's 8 episodes, 8 different kind of like short stories adapted into little TV episodes, which kind of read more or less as like short features. Like that's kind of how they're structured. They generally have like 3 proper acts, and they are not that television doesn't, but you know what I mean. Like they kind of feel like little movies. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is something that's right up my alley. I love horror. I love short stories. I love when those things come together. I like these little one-off ways of exploring different ideas. That being said, the show's very hit or miss. There are things that did you watch it, Alex?
I watched the first 2 and I gave up.
The first two are some of the weakest ones. So yeah. I will say that like I was not a very big fan of the first 2. I think the first episode is actually the worst one out of all of them.
It's so bad.
So I don't know. I don't know why they opened on that one. But I will just quickly give what my ranking was. So my just really quickly, my 8th, the worst one was episode 1. It was Lot 36. The second worst for me in number 7 was Dreams of the Witch House, which was like episode 5 or 6 or something like that. Not a great one either. It was just like, okay, I finished and I was like, whatever. In 6th place, I have Pickman's Model, which was kind of this like messy, sort of unfocused, but kind of cool idea. In number 5, I had Graveyard Rats, that was number 2. And that one was fine. That was like a solid 2.5 stars for me. It was just like, this was a fun story that I feel like worked well. I liked the spoiler alert. I don't know if you guys care about being spoiled for this. I liked the big rat. That was fun. And then we start to get in the ones that I liked more. Number 4, we have The Autopsy, which was one that I thought was okay. It's with F. Murray Abraham, I think.
I like that guy.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And I don't know. This is a really highly rated one. A lot of people, this is their favorite. It wasn't my favorite. And then we get into the top 3, which are all ones that I very much enjoyed. So in number 3, I have The Murmuring, which is the final episode. It's with Andrew Lincoln of Rick Grimes' Walking Dead fame, as well as I think her name is Essie Davis, who is in The Babadook, if you're familiar with that. And this story kind of gives Babadook a little bit. It's a little bit like that. And I really liked it. I think some of the scares are kind of cheap. Like there's some things where I don't like it, but it's a quite well written and very well acted story. And then we get into the 2 that are like very different vibes from the rest of the show. So number 2, I have The Viewing, which is this kind of like 70s horror, like slow burn. Yeah, that's the one with Eric Andre. It's like it's pretty nuts. It's like such a striking style. It's really fun to watch. The ending is pretty cool. I liked that one. And then my favorite one was called The Outside. I think this was episode 4. This one is directed by the same director who did A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is a movie I like quite a bit. Yeah, this is a really cool one. I like the way it explores themes. I thought the shot style was really cool. I really liked this one a lot. So yeah, I would like to see a second season of this show just because it's the kind of thing that's right up my alley. But I just like more style put into it, more subsistence. A lot of the episodes are pretty bland, and after that long tangent, long rant, that's my Predators picks.
Yeah, very nice. I think if I ever went back to Cabinet, I would probably just watch those best three.
Sure.
Because I was really wanting to see Eric Andre and Andrew Lincoln.
Sure.
But I don't know if I
I
could
will-
find the time. Not especially not right now, but
I'll put a caveat that like I don't think you'll like The Outside very much. I think this will very much be a Pearl situation. I don't think you'll like that one.
No.
But it's similar to Pearl in some ways. But yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Peter, have you been watching anything this week?
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about the movie I watched first. So I watched The Truman Show, and I thought it's a little overrated. I'm interested to hear your takes, but like I think the trailer did a very good job, almost oversold the movie for me. Like the trailer immediately gripped me. I think it's so cool, the concept of the movie, just being watched, and then what is really freedom is like being in a cage, actually free, more free than actually going outside the cage, because in the cage, even though your life is being watched, it's still like a good life, like you get sort of what you want, but when you're outside the cage, you have no idea what's gonna happen, but you do have complete control. Like, what is that sense of freedom? I think the dilemma that movie's trying to pose is very, very interesting, but the way that the movie tried to explore it is more of a comedic type of tone, which I guess makes sense with Jim Carrey, but then I will much prefer it taken in a more dramatic and nuanced look at it, which I think it did a really good job of at the last 30 minutes of the movie. I give the movie 3.5 on Letterboxd. I thought like that rating was entirely carried by the last 1/3 of the movie. Like it's great that they're trying to sort of like, it's like, oh, what will happen if I like try to break the system somehow? But then it's much more, like I said, a comedic approach than a nuanced approach, which I would prefer. So
yeah, I've actually never seen it.
I have seen it. I do not remember it very well. I mean, obviously the iconic ending is iconic for a reason. I think the visual of him walking up that staircase.
I don't necessarily want to see it. I will watch the movie.
I think you should definitely give it a go. Yeah.
You've never seen that though, like the picture?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's a very famous shot.
It's a very famous shot. Yeah.
And what I said was very vague. Like that means nothing.
Yeah.
Better or worse than Bruce Almighty?
Sorry?
Better or worse than The Mask? I'm trying to
think
of
The Mask.
Jim Carrey. I'm just picking random movies.
Well, I think The Mask is like, because like Jim Carrey is so good at just like being goofy and also like
smoking.
Yeah, like I really like The Mask. Mask is like I don't think I've seen that many Jim Carrey movies, but like Mask is definitely up there.
Mr. Popper's Penguins. Sorry, Aiden, what?
I have this thing. Let me know. Do you guys ever have experienced a certain phenomenon when your parents absolutely despise a certain actor or a certain celebrity or a certain thing, and so therefore you just have a vaguely negative opinion of them without really much consideration of it? Like, and for your whole life,
yeah,
just been
like, I felt that.
My mom like hates Jim Carrey to no end, and so like I always approach Jim Carrey movies with like trepidation, like this might be fucking stupid, and I don't really have a reason for that beyond just that my mom hates him.
Yeah, I don't think I have that, but anyways, do you have any other Predators picks?
Yes. Aiden and I, we watched this little TV show.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
We watched The Last of Us, which is, I thought, and I think we share the same opinion, absolutely fantastic. It's by the creator of Chernobyl, and I think like I said time and time again on this podcast, if your work has great character work, most likely I would dig it, and this has amazing character work. I have not played the games, so I don't know how close it is to the games. But like Bella Ramsey's chemistry with Pedro, and also just her as an actor, is just fantastic. Like I'm thinking about the scene where she goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fuck you! Oh my god! Like I can watch that scene
Spoilers.
repeatedly, and it will be funny every time. It's just
Haven't
that
seen it.
good. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Really
shit is
good.
pretty sick too. I like right from the opening scene, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a good show. Like, I think like the opening scene like sells it a lot. Where it's like, okay, this is clearly well written, clearly well directed.
Are you
like,
talking about like the entire opening sequence, or just the?
I'm
opening
talking about
scene?
literally the opening scene where it's like the talk show thing.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
I think that
Seen
I was
that
Like
like,
clip
the
on
vibe
Twitter.
immediately clicks with you.
I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, okay,
yeah.
this is sick. I have not played the game because I'm not a big console guy, but I've actually watched an entire playthrough of the game, so I know what happens in everything. So far, like beat for beat, bar for bar, the exact same thing. Like pretty
Yeah.
much. There might be like little things that are different, but I've still really enjoyed watching it, despite knowing exactly what's gonna happen. Yeah, I think it's really good. I don't have that much to say about it. I'm excited to see what happens next.
I have a question for you guys. So I've seen some screenshots of the show compared to screenshots of the game that are literally exactly the same.
Mhm.
You know, maybe slightly different materials, but like there's one shot where Pedro Pascal is wearing like a teal shirt.
Oh yeah,
There's
I've
a-
seen that one too.
There's a brick wall behind him, and this shot in the game is the exact same color teal, exact same color brick wall, exact same shot size, and like that's weird to me. Like what do you guys think about that? Like a shot for shot remake.
I do hope that it doesn't do that for the whole show. I think that, to be fair, like this segment of the game is like less of like a lot of like the real gameplay isn't in this part of the game. Like it's a lot of story stuff, and
A
so
lot of cutscenes.
maybe that's why there's a lot of like reference. But yeah, I mean, it's beyond that. There are some dialogue lines where I was like, it was like freaky deja vu watching it, because it's like it's the same line and it's delivered like the same way, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And then entire scenes are actually kind of like shot the same way, like the scene when like before the time skip, when they're in the truck, like that sequence is like very much how it's done. Yeah, I hope that it's not like that for the whole show. It didn't bother me too much for this one, but I could
Okay.
see that being potentially a problem.
And like, okay, Aiden, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel like the ending shot of the first episode where they pan across the ruined buildings, that has to be unique to the show, right?
Maybe I don't remember. The idea of ruined buildings is not. I don't.
Yeah,
maybe the
well,
shot's-
certainly not.
Maybe
Yeah.
the shot specific, but like that doesn't really matter if there's like one shot that's
Mhm.
different.
But like honestly, to someone who's like fresh to the franchise, it's like the story immediately grips me. You know what I mean? Like I feel invested of the characters already, even though I haven't seen that much.
All right. That's it for you, Peter?
That's it for me.
Okay, so next week there won't be a next week. We're taking a break. Basically we're all getting very busy with our schedules. We gotta make films basically, so that's gonna be taking up our time for a bit. We might not be back for like a while. Like
Yeah.
it could be
Probably like a month.
several weeks to a month. We haven't decided firmly, but I think at this point we just have to play it by ear.
Yeah.
So Predator
If
versus movies is on
all-
pause.
All I'm saying is Ant-Man's coming out. Should be on for
That's all
Ant-Man.
he's saying. That's literally all Peter is saying. Ant-Man is coming out. So if you want to see us come back, which we probably will, but who knows? Let us know. Reach out to us. Show us your love,
Yeah,
and
come
we'll
on,
come back.
come on, Predator Nation.
Leave
Let's
a
show us the
review.
love.
Predator Nation. Predator Nation. Show us your love, and maybe we'll come back. Leave a review on Spotify. Until next time, I'm Alex,
I'm Peter.
I'm Aiden.
and this was Predator versus Movies. This is really our
This
note.
is a sad ending. This is a
Yeah, like this is really depressing.
Yeah, let's get a happier ending going.
Yeah, Alex,
that
where's
was
the
Predator
energy,
versus
bro?
movies. Woo!
go. And I've got just the thing.
Dude, you,
Sing along.
you got clear the copyright, man.
It's Dominic the Donkey.
Still don't know the song.
It's Dominic the Donkey.
I need the lyrics, bro. I'm pulling up the lyrics.
Spotify has the lyrics.
Yep, this is the credits. This is the credits
Got
of the
Yeah, this is the
friend,
credits.
His name
This
is
is real credits.
Dominic, the cutest little donkey. You never see
Dude, this is the most silly segment we've ever done.
Will be because the reindeer cannot climb the hills of Italy. Hey! It's Dominic the donkey.
The Italian Christmas donkey? Okay.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Cut it there.
Nice. All right, see you guys in a month.
In a
Dude,
month.
what will be the next movie we want to do?
I don't know.
February
Maybe Ant-Man.
movies.
Well, we were looking at Infinity Pool, Knock at the Cabin,
Oh, I want to do that one if
Ant-Man.
we can.
and Magic Mike's Last Dance.
Yeah.
So we will just see. Yeah, I don't know.
We shall
don't
Wait,
really-
there's also a movie called Jesus Revolution.
Yeah, let's do that.
What?
Fuck everything else we just said. Let's just pick that random movie you just said.
Let's
Yeah,
do it
let's
Jesus
do that one.
time.
Dude, we talk about Jesus a lot today.
And Dominic the Donkey.
Yes.
How should we end this episode?
Oh, Cocaine Bear's out in February.
Février.
Février.
Wait, we're still
Nous
recording?
sommes un podcast français maintenant.
Yeah.
Le mois dernier.
You lost me there. I don't know what you're saying anymore.
Alex,
Next
aren't you
month,
taking a
next month.
French course right now?
Stop doxing me. God, end the podcast.
Dude, everyone go to Alex's French course.
Ah! Okay. Predator versus movies.
Okay, bye.
You made it sad again. Now just
No, not this time.
No!
Jingle bells around his feet and presents on the sled.
I think that finish was
sing along.
Yeah,
It's Dominic the Donkey. It's Dominic the Donkey. La 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 la. And he's back. Predator versus movies. Pew, 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 pew.